Truly hope the insights shared today have resonated with all our participants and will be carried forward as they design and deliver responses through a trauma-informed lens. I know we're running excessively behind on time, and our next session, which was planned with the CEO of Kerala Infrastructure and Technology for Education, had to be unfortunately cancelled due to the ongoing aviation fiasco. We sincerely apologize to all the participants for this. Moving on to the last panel of the day, where we will discuss failures, feedback loops, and staying the course in child protection, along with our distinguished panelists. Dr. Kiran Modi, Founder Director at Udyan Care, Atiya Bose, CEO of Angan Trust, and Vedehi Subramaniam, ex-chairperson for the Child Welfare Committee and ex-Juvenile Justice Board, in conversation with Sonal Kapoor. I request, because we have a hard stop at 4:45 and will be kicked out of the hall by the IHC team, I request that you please end the panel at 4:30 so that we can have the close. We have to have the vote of thanks and the closing remarks. We have to end the panel by 4:30. All right, thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Avantika, I promise I'll not keep it until 4:30, but until 4:35, if that's okay. Okay. आज सुबह से बहुत कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई और शुरुआत हम सोच रहे थे कि इस पैनल से पहले हम कुछ और रिफ्लेक्शंस लेंगे एंड वील आस्क द पैनलिस्ट्स. अगर मैं एक क्विक राउंड ऑफ इंट्रोडक्शंस की रिक्वेस्ट करूं, बहुत बार होता है कि हम वो बायो पढ़ देते हैं जो वेबसाइट्स पे या लिंक्डइन पे होता है, but I think more important than that, it's important for us to hear from one. I'll also bring that perspective of why these three experts have been chosen to be on the last panel with the topic that we have to talk about. But if Vedehi, we can take 30 seconds or 1 minute for a quick round of introductions from each of you for yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Vedehi Subramani. I served in Child Welfare Committee and Juvenile Justice Board. I'm a professional social worker.
I'm Kiran Modi, founder of Udyan Care. So going in her stream, when she said that she's a professional social worker, I will say I'm a professional volunteer. So I am the founder of my organization. Last 31 years, this is all I have done: eat, breathe, and sleep Udyan Care, and serve our children with as much passion as possible as I started with.
Hi, I'm Atiya Bose. I lead an organization called Angan. I'm not sure that I'm a professional at all. I think I'm just somebody who has been deeply concerned with children's safety and well-being for as long as I can remember. So that's just who I am.
Nobody can be more passionate than you.
Thank you for joining us. I think in the interest of time, we'll also delve quickly into very quick context setting of why this panel, why at this time. हम सुबह से trauma care, child protection, and like I think Mukul amazingly summarized a public health crisis की conversation different spheres और angles से कर रहे हैं. ये panel हमारे लिए एक साथ लाना बहुत ज़रूरी भी था. हमने बहुत limited चर्चा करी, but conversation ये भी था कि can we have a Hriday dialogue, a heart-to-heart dialogue without a lot of preparation? And the first piece that I want to bring to the table in terms of questions, और मैं सुबह एक sense check कर रही थी room से, चाहे वो CWC से लोग हों या चाहे counselors हों CCIs से, एक सवाल, and वैदेही हम आपसे शुरुआत करना चाहेंगे if that's okay. Mandatory reporting, POCSO को लेकर अक्सर confusion रहता है. From a social worker perspective, ये कोई नहीं कह रहा है कि हम मैंडेटरी रिपोर्टिंग नहीं करेंगे या रिपोर्टिंग करना सही है या गलत है, बट मैं आपसे और आपके इनक्रेडिबल 3 दशक से ऊपर के एक्सपीरियंस जो CWCs JJB मेंबर के रूप में आपने निभाया है, उसमें से कुछ समझना चाहती हूँ, जानना चाहती हूँ किस तरीके से पॉक्सो की रिपोर्टिंग करी जाती है, करी जाती आई है, उसमें क्या हम लोगों को एज डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स रिप्रेजेंटिंग डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ दिस चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन वर्क समझने की और बेहतर करने की ज़रूरत है टू रिपोर्ट CSA केसेस विद कीपिंग इन माइंड मैंडेटरी रिपोर्टिंग क्लॉज.
Mandatory reporting is a good intent of the law. We see the two sides of it. Because we want the child not to suffer continuously. The mandatory reporting really helps so that it comes into surface, the child gets the relief. But at the same time, when we see the romantic relationships, especially in adolescents, children, instead of child getting the support from the system, the child gets into procedural problems. The family also gets into problems, and unnecessary institutions ho jate hain if she is going to be pregnant or anything. It adds further trauma only for the child instead of getting justice or whatever the relief from the system. So it has got two sides. Instead of asking the reporting is good or bad, we have to see how the reporting is taken, how the reporting is seen, through which lens it is seen. That is more important in my opinion. So,
CWCs को क्या सीखने की या बेहतर करने की कोई ज़रूरत है as they take cases of POXO?
yeah, because suppose if you take a case of a girl who is about 7 to 8 months pregnant, and if it is through the medical institution, the reporting has been done, and not the family has not done it, but the child went to hospital, then from there the reporting has happened. So then the CWC sometimes they do some moral policing also, and at that time due to emotional problem the child may not want to go to family also. Then in that case unnecessary keeping the child in the child care institution makes further trauma for the child. So that is also very big issues, and CWC has to have a very informed decisions consulting the child, because we need to have the right to participation, what the child wants to have it. Then we need to, whether we want to keep the child in institutional care or any other options which are available for the child at that time. So that has to be taken in consideration, and we have to take the call after that.
So is it fair to say as a social work practice and perspective कि मैंडेटरी रिपोर्टिंग या पॉक्सो को और ज़्यादा ट्रॉमा इन्फॉर्म्ड बनने की ज़रूरत है फ्रॉम अ सर्वाइवर सेंटर्ड लेंस?
Yes, it makes.
Coming from a CWC and ex-JJB member, I think that makes all the world of a difference.
Yeah, because
for you to say that.
Because I also go to many schools for POXO training. So where sometimes we do get the cases from the school. Then the school is really hesitant to bring the attention to the authorities concerned. Because especially if an NGO is involved in that, then NGO को बाधा देगा. You don't come back. आप बच्चे को you are unnecessarily giving all the ideas. So we don't want you to enter into the school, and we will deal with our case. Then that gets दब जाते हैं उधर ही. So it gives a lot of problems for reporting also. Once it reported in the adolescent romantic relationships, it poses problems also.
We'll quickly come back to that point.
क्योंकि हम लोगों ने बात की है हृदय डायलॉग है, तो इसलिए मैं यहाँ अपने आप को बोलने से रोक नहीं पा रही हूँ. क्या कैन आई
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Especially from the perspective of a children's home, where children are growing up of all ages, exploration is only natural and normal. That also gets penalized. I
Yes,
think CWC
exactly.
members must keep, and we lost 2 really potential children, to POXO. And it was just exploration. We explained it, everything. We were ordered make a police case, and we had to do that. Children were taken away from us. They were put into observation home. Where are they now?
Yeah, that's another point.
We have to remember
from
what
the
is
medical.
exploration and what is, a normal adolescent behavior or a falling in love. We have to keep all this. I think POXO really needs to first
Have
do
a different
some-
lenses.
Yeah. Sorry. for
No,
inter-
no, no. That's an important insight. In
I
fact,
also feel like interrupting.
okay. Absolutely.
Oh God, we're really gonna mess this up. But
Not
no.
going to let you go at 4:30.
But I think what I wanted to say also, just because we're so many practitioners in the room, so I'm speaking from a practitioner standpoint of what is the complexity that you face when that child is in front of you. Because POCSO is a criminal law. And the intention of criminal law is on the perpetrator,
Yes.
right? And that oftentimes has very little to do with the child. Our intention is always to stop the abuse from happening, right? I think that remains paramount. Everyone's nodding, right? We all understand that. Sometimes the wheels of the criminal justice system are themselves a punishment for the child. They add layers and layers of additional disruption. बच्चियों को oftentimes अगर घर में support नहीं है case के बारे में, then the child is taken and yes, put into safe custody somewhere else. And that child ends up feeling like they are the criminal because suddenly they are in jail. And the burden of the family, the disruption of especially in cases of incest or in cases, where an influential person is the perpetrator. So it is an emotional minefield. And I think as practitioners, we have to know that, and we have to know that that's the course you have to take, right? You have to understand that. It also, so many things come into conflict. So many things that we understand and hold dear in child rights, child's right to participation, child's right to say what they want. Sometimes a child won't say, yes, I want you to report. Then it's your job to prepare the child, because you've got to understand then it's mixed messages that child is getting कि मैंने report किया and then you broke your word. You went against what I wanted. I'm never going to report again. So it is a minefield. And I think we have to be continuously aware of that and not ever pretend that it's not just about, if the CWC behaves really well or the childcare institution behaves really well, everything is going to be fine. It is disruption. It is violence of every kind for every member of that family, So, and I think we have to recognize that. Like even for family members who feel they were not able to protect that child, the violence, the guilt, all of that, I think those are things those are the complexities that we have to sit with as a practitioner. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
And I think women, when they make kick-ass points, should stop saying sorry after that. No, not at all, not at all. And I think यहाँ पे बहुत सारे academia के लोग हैं. If there's mental health institutions, mental health professors also are in the room. A lot of journalists are in the room. If at all, you can help put this complexity की जो आतिया ने बात करी, this complexity of mandatory reporting. At no point is the civil society saying, let me be very clear that, reporting is bad. But what we are saying is, have we held this inquiry of complexity of mandatory reporting enough in our media conversations, in our conversations in universities, etc., is a point that we can probably bring in our spaces. Vaidehi ne jo baat kari, Dr. Kiran, if I can quickly come to you immediately on that. There's a lot of chatter that's happening. Not all of it has made frontline media news, but some of it did around COVID, that there is pressure on institutions to close down. We all realize that the Juvenile Justice Act of the country very clearly says that institutionalization is the last resort, and civil society is not stupid. We understand what that means. But there is pressure for CCIs to shut down without the prep. जिसको उर्दू में बोलते हैं ज़रखेज़, ज़मीन तैयार नहीं हुई है, ज़रखेज़ नहीं है, लेकिन there is pressure for it to shut down. For somebody like Udayan Care that does fantastic work in CCIs, through CCIs, how do you look at this complexity in the child protection system?
So before I get into that, I was trying to read something in the morning and it popped up, DI, deinstitutionalization. This word started in 1955, and it meant to release people from psychiatric hospitals. I also didn't know. I mean, it was such an eye-opener, and remove from institutional life, or what we know today as moving away from institutional care towards more family and community-based care. it has been long-term associated. Our JJ Act emanates from UNCRC. Again and again, it has been said that institutional care should be the last resort. But do we have other alternative systems? Leave aside the alternative systems. Before we talk about them, let's talk about the family strengthening.
Yes.
If the child comes into the system, how do you gatekeep? How do you stop the child from coming? Then, if the child comes in, how do you restore the child back into community? It requires a whole lot of family strengthening. जैसा आपने बोला, ज़मीन तैयार नहीं की, और आप बंजर ज़मीन में आप चाहोगे कुछ हो जाए तो कैसे होगा? The children, when they go back, are the families prepared? They are not prepared. Already they are reeling under poverty. That was the first reason. Even the 2008 Jinnah Committee report clearly mentions 80% children are coming because of poverty. Poverty should not be the reason a child should land up in an institution. But that's the reason they are landing up. Then what are we doing about it? उनको खाली वापस भेजना है. क्या होगा वहाँ? पढ़ाई होगी. यहाँ पर जब आप संस्था में हैं, किसी एक सोशल वर्कर के मोबाइल नंबर पे आपका आइडेंटिटी कार्ड बना हुआ है. अब वो बच्चा घर जाता है, उसका आई कार्ड भी नहीं बन सकता, उसको स्कूल में एडमिशन नहीं मिलता, कुछ भी प्रेपरेशन नहीं. अगर आप बोलिए कि इनको एजुकेशन में हेल्प चाहिए तो जवाब ये मिलेगा कि एजुकेशन तो फ्री है. आप बोलिए इनको हेल्थ नहीं मिलेगा तो हेल्थ तो फ्री है, लेकिन कहाँ है वो फ्री? किस तरह से मिलेगा फ्री? अगर आपके पास बच्चा आता है अक्टूबर नवंबर में, माँ बाप के पास, वो बच्चे को स्कूल में कैसे एडमिशन कराएंगे? क्योंकि कार्ड ही नहीं है. और अगर आई कार्ड के लिए वो जाते हैं, संस्थाओं को बोलते हैं, उनके पास भी इतना मैन पावर नहीं है. हम कल करेंगे, हम परसों करेंगे. पता नहीं वो जो सोशल वर्कर काम कर रहा था, ही इज़ नो लॉन्गर वर्किंग हियर, ही इज़ गॉन. सो आई डोंट नो हुज नंबर इज़ इट. You keep on going to the center and keep on you doing biometrics. It's hell of a lot. So what I was reading, in 2016 actually, I had attended a global conference. That's where I actually heard about DI, a deinstitutionalization. That institution should be shut down and children should be in families. But it was mentioned clearly again and again, 4 things. You need to have political will. You need to have funding and investments in place. You need to have know-how, and you need to build the capacities. And capacities not only of the government functionaries, capacity of the family, capacity of the child who has been getting 4 square meals in an institution, however bad that institution may be, who was going to a school, whatever kind of school it may be, but when he lands up at home, there is nothing. So you can imagine, what kind of trauma the child faces again and again. Re-traumatization of all kind. So, and then if you look at, even though there is POIC and PONIC placed in the DCPU, but
Full
how
forms,
much time?
if you can come with the full forms.
Yeah.
Probation officer, non-institutional care and institutional care.
Yes. So when you look at these positions are in place, but the kind of universe they have to deal with, it's humanly not possible. They are not able to reach out to just about everyone in the community, whoever needs them. So it's such a big problem. And family strengthening then remains only in the name. If you are able to strengthen the family, that means, put them into cash transfers, put them into disability pensions, put them into different kinds of schemes. All kinds of schemes are there. We are not even aware. Even civil society is not aware, even families are not aware. So those schemes are also going redundant. And then you are told everything is available free. But where are they? Because the people don't know how to claim them. So it's a very, very big problem. I was reading about Sri Lanka. They have a family service policy. And in our country, where family should be the key, and we don't have any such policy which clearly outlines how families can be supported, how families can be served. I'm not saying that Sri Lanka policy is very effective, because like most of the policies everywhere, there is a difference between practice and policy, but policy is there. At least to begin with, for anything, policy is the first step. We don't even have that. Then there has to be very stringent gatekeeping at the level of the CWC, not because the parent is coming and crying and I don't have anyone, please put her into a CWC, into a CCI, the child is brought into a CCI. Then the child starts adjusting, and then again the pressure starts coming, oh, she has family, return her back to the family. So there is a lot of gatekeeping required at the level of CWC, at the level of CCI. Then when the child goes back, there has to be a lot of effort into reintegration. Restoration is not the only thing. How do you reintegrate the child? And for that, you have to go to any level, then only the child can be reintegrated. We have so many protection officers at different levels, like, Asha, Anganwadi. Asha workers are also, even though health, but they are moving in the community. Anganwadi workers, then, there are different kinds of committees, DCPC, and I don't know, hundreds of such committees. Why can't they all come together and work for this child? And the child, they should be trained into identifying all kinds of abuse and neglect at the family level also, and they should be able to report if we really want the families to survive. One thing that we did very, very effectively was in Madhya Pradesh. We did vulnerability mapping with the help of the government and UNICEF. We started in one district, then we did it in five, and now the government is happy to roll it out all over. So we are in that process. In that vulnerability mapping, it was very essential to understand which families are vulnerable and they may separate from their families. So prevention is the key. If we are able to prevent, just imagine how much of heart attack and how much of government functionaries and machineries, we can save. So I personally think, I'm so sorry, I had to put down my thoughts. And so I think, again, another thing that we did in Madhya Pradesh was, training the functionaries on family strengthening, as well as family-based alternative care, like foster care, adoption, kinship care, and the different kinds, so that the child can be in the community, not in the institution.
If I can just pause you there, Dr. Kiran, in the interest of time, I'm getting signals from my team. And I'll come back to you on the institutionalization piece, because that is the key. A lot of CCI counselors are here in the room today. And if I can come to Atya, you lead an amazing organization, Angan, and Protsahan and Angan ने बहुत चीज़ें एक दूसरे से सीखी हैं, in ways more than one that we can even begin to unpack today. What is the cost? But we must. What is the emotional cost, Atya, of leading this work as a leader of an amazing institution that is growing its work not just in Bombay or Maharashtra, but in a lot of other pockets in Bihar and Jharkhand?
It used to be that I used to feel like children themselves, there's a resilience, a word from the previous session, in fact. There's a resilience that children have. There's a certain joy that children have. I remember a kid in a Mumbai center, as he was leaving, he said, "Didi, bachenge to fir milenge." That kind of sassiness, if you stop and think about what he said, it's horrible and true. But it used to be that I used to think that that's what kept me going, it's just that spirit. I'll say this, I've been doing this a long time, and I do feel like nowadays, because I'm working a lot, also thinking a lot about climate, and so working in areas of great precarity. And I think post-COVID, the sense of precarity is something that we're all aware of, right? Much, much more than maybe we allowed ourselves to be aware of. The fact that people actually live on the margins and they're going to fall off the margins is something that I think we're much more in touch with. And so I do feel like I'm actually experiencing a lot more hopelessness. I'm seeing you, 2 minutes, okay. Experiencing a lot more hopelessness. And so I think that's what one needs to combat. I feel like even among children, the kind of risk-taking, the kind of sense of like, I just have to get out of here. I'll do whatever. I'll take whatever offer comes. I feel like I'm hearing that a lot more. So I would say that for me, I think the building of alliance, true alliance, I don't think we've done, I've been doing this a long time. I don't think we've done a very good job in our sector, all of us, of building true alliances that are not funder-driven or whatever, that are just alliances of like sitting with the difficulty of the work that we do and praising ourselves for staying the course, which is what this what this is about. I think that's super important. It's super important for us also to reflect on sometimes, like we also just get caught up, in process and procedure, which allows us to get very bogged down because that can make you cynical. That can make you cynical because you don't see change in the ways that you want to see change. So I think we have to stay fresh. I think we have to really shine hope for each other. I think acts of solidarity, acts of companionship, allyship, I think these are super, super important. I, for one, wish that I had spent a lot more of my time in the last 25 years that I've been working, building that. And I think my commitment is that, the years I have left, that is what I should be thinking about. So that's what I want to say to young people, is build your alliances and make them a part of your everyday work, because that's what's going to sustain you.
What I'm hearing really from Atya is that जब हम compassion fatigue या vicarious trauma या emotional cost of doing this work, leave alone leading this work की बात करते हैं, probably the answer is in solidarity and allyship. Thank you. Sometimes, we think of such big strategy pieces but forget the most basic ones. हम alliances क्यों नहीं कर पाते as a sector, and I will just park that as a question, bounce it to everyone sitting here, is हमने कभी सोचा है, again, for the lack of being, right or left of things, right always sticks together no matter what, and I will not break it down. I assume people understand. Left just picks up the faults in the other the minute they want to. Left never comes together. We'll sit with that thought. I want to bring in Vaidehi back into the conversation. Again, you've been somebody who understands the system like not a lot of other people do, Vaidehi, and that's what we've learned from you at Protsahan. If there was one thing or two things you could bring to Mission Vatsalya today, what would it be?
As she said, we have to invest on family strengthening.
Hmm.
So though they have rolled out sponsorship schemes and aftercare programs, funding and all, sponsorship mainly they give 4,000 rupees. And that also had a lot of tag, the child attendance should be 75% and things
This
like
is sponsorship for
for the any vulnerable children, for anybody.
CNCP.
Yeah, CNCP.
Children in need of care and
Ah,
protection.
it's for 3 years and it's subject to assessment of 75% attendance and things like that. It never talks about the child with disability. The child may not be able to go to school for 75 days of attendance. So a lot of tag attached to that. So that money has to be little more designed for the child's basic needs for the child, that has to be designed. And Mission Vatsalya should definitely invest in family strengthening, like creating a resource center in every district or something like that, where counseling will be available, where addiction, if the child is there, then advice will be available. Or if, as she says, creating a documents for the child or identification of the records. So even before the child comes into JJ systems as a preventive part, if even a small abuse or small even a small bullying is found in the community, that can be kept or that can be screened in the community center or the resource center, so that the gatekeeping will be better in that also. So for that, Mission Vatsalya should have a more innovative family strengthening center, or what we call a resource center in each district, so that for initial problems all the child can go, the community can go, then we can bring in a lot of volunteers, so we can work in that collaboration.
And beautifully said, because bina social protection ke child protection is a joke.
Yeah.
So access to government schemes
Through
and
a
family
center,
strength.
even before you coming to CCA or CWC, something very accessible in the community itself.
So this is such a powerful point for all the young NGO people who are here, or younger organizations who are still working on their program design strategy. I do realize there are people from Firozabad in Punjab and Manipur and a couple of other places that are dealing with a lot of violence on the ground in ways more than one than we choose to admit. But in those areas, I think when we're doing mental health as an intervention, let's also push that access to government schemes or family strengthening की जो बात दोनों वैदेही और Dr. Kiran कर रहे हैं, access to government schemes is also part of mental health.
Yeah, and one more thing, we need to invest on child protection staff or the social workers.
Case management workers?
Case management workers. So we need to strengthen them. So what happened in DCPU, a lot of young girls and boys are joining. And if they get some other nice job, they leave it and go off also. The attrition is also a high side on the DCPO. Or a good staff will leave the DCPO also. So we need to have a continuum care by the specialists who are in the DCPO or in CWC. And so that capacity building should be on a constant, refreshing training should be given, so that they are very prepared to handle any type of scenarios which are brought in before them. So they need to spend on both these counts only, in my opinion. A resource center or a family strengthening center, and on protection of them, the staff capacity building.
And every district has budget for children.
Yes.
We just have to go back and look how much budget that you can hold them accountable for. Yes, Atya.
I just wanted to add, when we're talking about Mission Vatsalya, and we're looking at children generally in a post-harm situation. And I feel like our generation of, that's a slightly different generation.
No.
Our generation of social worker, we spent a lot of our efforts really like strengthening the JJ system, really looking to that. And the JJ system is almost entirely about a post-harm scenario. I do think that the next generation of social workers and child protection workers needs to really also take a prevention lens. It's something that you said in your answer, and I think when you're talking about prevention of, a child coming back, that's prevention, right? And I think that really thinking about that in a much more broad-based way is like, how do we actually create a protective net for all children? I think that is really the next, the next big step that I'm hoping the young folks in this room are going to.
You're very young, Atya. On that note, Kiran and Dr. Kiran and Atya, if I can direct this particular question to both of you, does CSR understand child protection in the Schedule 7 of Section 135 Companies Act?
Very difficult question, and I think the gentleman there, you were there, no, in the morning?
They don't.
Somebody was sitting behind me. So
I can tell you, child protection is not charity. They should remember it.
Yeah.
It is not. It's a very emotional complex, and the milestones cannot be shown very easily in QPR, first QPR or second QPR. So it needs a lot of time.
Is it even in the schedule?
Nope.
Right. So I think that's the first problem, is that it's not recognized as something worthy of investment. So I would, and possibly, what you're saying is that it's too complicated. It's too complex.
You can't show results easily.
You can't show results easily.
And I again want to bring back
We absolutely should.
what Mukul said. What if, as feminists, we don't know any other way but to be innovative around the problems we are thrown into? I think what if we just actually say child protection is a public health crisis? Yes. And then do what we have to do anyway.
Could I
very
just
quick,
add
no, I'm being shown all these. So I would want to take very, very quick 3 or 4 reflections together. Please, कहानी NGO वालों को बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बहुत कहानी बोलना. हम 1 या 2 लाइन में या 3 लाइन में अपने quick reflections रखें, 4 or 5, and we throw it all to the panelists for their last word on what the room has to say. One second, please. Where's the
Hello, it's with me here, Deepa. So I'm a child rights practitioner, but right now I'm a chairperson with Child Welfare Committee in Delhi. So regarding this mandatory reporting, the question which was first with Vaidehi ma'am. But whom to report? That is one question, which we often come before us being there at Child Welfare Committee. What happens every time whenever there is a case at CCI, it is reported to CWC. But ideally, CWC is not supposed to be reported, but the local police or the SGPU has to be reported. This question was, there was a confusion, but it was again resolved by one of the judgment of the Supreme Court. And also, like in all cases of CWC, even police, the issue which I feel what's happening is with the police. So all cases of POCSO, which is reported to the police, has to be mandatorily reported to CWC by the police, but child is not supposed to be presented or produced before the CWC. It is very, very unnecessary. That's what, somebody was asking me today how it is, like I was earlier member JJB, and I was asked how it is at CWC. So, I mean, it is very taxing because half of my time is like keep on training every police officer. Why do you bring this child? 5-year-old child, incest case नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है, आप उसको लेके यहाँ वहाँ क्यों जा रहे हो? आप VC से भी प्रोडक्शन कर सकते हो या फिर आप सिंपली एक रिपोर्ट करो. सो लाइक आई थिंक ये कन्फ्यूजन CCI में भी है बिकॉज CCI भी CWC को ही रिपोर्ट करता है. सो दैट्स वन थिंग. And yes,
You have
ma'am,
20
correctly
seconds.
said.
20 seconds.
No.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I forgot. So, I mean, yeah, we need to understand that reporting, why that reporting, what Atiya was actually like saying कि हम क्यों कर रहे हैं. पॉक्सो का जो अभी इशू चल रहा है 16 to 18, age of consent, mandatory reporting. I mean, so many things are there in process. So we hope for a better law in future. Till that time, I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
we get your point. Quick 2 more questions or reflections.
Hello, I'm Snehil and I'm working with child protection at communities in Bastar region for last 5 years. Ma'am, Chhattisgarh is actually ranking 4th in terms of crime committed by children in actually nomenclature of NCRB, and 43% cases are actually POXO cases. Now a very quick anecdote. One observation home, a communication with counselor with a child, and the child is screaming, तुम्हें पता था एज ऑफ कंसेंट 18 है, मुझे नहीं पता था एज ऑफ कंसेंट 18 है, तुम रूम से बाहर निकल जाओगे, मैं 3 साल इस दरवाजे के अंदर रहूँगा. And I was jolted by that conversation. I went to headquarters after 4 days. I read all the SCRT books, and the child right just stop it. Child marriage की एज 18 और 21 है, चाइल्ड मैरिज गुनाह है, 1098 पे कॉल करना होता है, and that's all the system is making available to the child. And a child spends 13 hours in either school related work or in school. Child protection knowledge or child rights are always seen as a supplementary or an additional knowledge कि या तो वो teachers दे देंगे या फिर one good organization decides to work in that particular school. But when we comes to about empowering children with legal literacy, the age appropriate legal literacy, the system is not functioning. We are not informing children what their rights are. No sponsorship scheme is made available in the book that the provision is there. So I think we can strongly work. I'm not having access to NCRT, but we can strongly need to work upon empowering children also with the knowledge which is staying with adults right now. It's not reaching children at the right way.
Point taken. One more last
But
reflection.
in Delhi, it is happening. The
One more
legal
last
literacy is done by the district legal
in
service
the interest
authorities.
of time, please. So sorry, I have to be the bad moderator here. One last reflection. Yes, please, Ranjit. थोड़ा
चलिए,
छोटा
बातें
संक्षेप
बहुत
में
आ गई
रखें.
हैं तो बस 30-35 सेकंड में ख़त्म. ये ऐसा होगा है कि इस तरह के वर्कशॉप का आयोजन ये बहुत इनोवेटिव है और मुझे लगता है कि जिस मुद्दा को लेकर के ये प्रोत्साहन इंडिया आगे आई है कि AI वर्सेज यूथ एंड चिल्ड्रेन, वो बहुत मौजूद विषय है अभी के परिप्रेक्ष्य में और बहुत पहले हम लोग इस बात पर जग गए हैं. तो इस तरह के चीज़ों में जितने अच्छे आज वर्कशॉप हुए हैं उस वर्कशॉप को थोड़ा और समय देकर करने की ज़रूरत है. ये मेरा सुझाव पहले भी मैंने इनको बोला था. तो ये प्रोत्साहन की टीम से हम आग्रह करते हैं कि इस तरह की चीज़ें अगर ग्रास रूट पे जाएगी तो थोड़ा समय चाहिए, चूँकि बहुत जल्दी में बहुत हैट्रिक होकर के इतने सारे चीज़ों को सीखना बड़ा कठिन है. तो ये मेरा फीलिंग्स है और ये रिफ्लेक्शंस भी है. तो इसमें अगर ये आएगा तो अच्छा होगा और ये बहुत अच्छा आएगा.
Thank you, Ranjit. And a very quick reflection back is जब हमने violence against children के काम को, not हृदय really, I think there are enough beautiful organizations like Prerna, Haq, Leher, lots and lots of beautiful organizations that exist out there and more. Vidal है साउथ में. पॉइंट ये नहीं है कि ऐसे कॉन्वर्सेशंस हो नहीं रहे हैं, डेफिनेटली हो रहे हैं, बट बहुत लेटली नाम नहीं लूँगी, फंडर से हमने जब जिक्र किया वायलेंस अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन के इस काम को, मेंटल हेल्थ के काम को और बढ़ाना है, तो उन्होंने कहा वायलेंस अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन पे काम मत करो, हमारे पास हैंड पंप लगाने का पैसा है, हैंड पंप लगा लो. ऑन दैट नोट, इफ़ आई कैन हैव वन लास्ट कॉमेंट फ्रॉम ईच ऑफ यू, what will really make policy possibilities and action on the ground, keeping the concern for the caregiver, चाहे वो CWC का है, चाहे वो CEO है किसी संस्था का, चाहे टीचर है, चाहे जिंदल की प्रोफेसर्स हैं, what does it take to do this work and what should we not be in denial of? Empathy has broken us, Vedahi. Where do we go from here?
No, we did have a good mindset. As she said, we continue to work with that. Then we will get the capacity built on its own.
Don't stop me in between. Because I do want to say something. I will just talk about Udayan Care's mantra. You know, we really want to do everything around family. So we are working in 3 domains, child protection, education, employability, but everything is around family. How do you strengthen the family? Every person in the family, whether it's an elderly, whether it's a person with disability, whether there is a youth who is not getting a job, if you are taking the whole family as your, universe, then only you can bring in any kind of a, you will be able to save the family from any kind of burnout. You will be able to give them, help them face any kind of ecological changes. Secondly, we believe in design your program for dignity. Everybody that you are dealing with has a dignity, and their innate dignity needs to be respected. So you have to design for passion, yes, but design for process, because process will bring them dignity. Then thirdly, keep learning relentlessly. Even 31 years later, I feel I don't know anything. And every day comes as a learning. And every day you won't believe, before going to bed, I do ask myself, what did I learn today? So I think, especially for people here who are social workers, counselors, it's very important to reflect on your day. How did it go? What you could have done differently? What is your learning for today?
I think what I want to leave us with is, I believe safety is the foundational right of all human beings, and particularly children. And I think we have to stop normalizing and stop thinking it's okay that safety should be the business of families or of just the JJ system. If safety is foundational, then everybody has to practice safety. I think we have to make child protection not a vertical anymore, it's a horizontal. It's inside every single development aspiration we have for children, whether it's education, whether it's health, whatever it is. Safety is the foundation, and I think we have to be able to say that loudly in every forum so that child protection becomes the work of all people, not just the people in this room.
Thank you. Thank you for fabulous patience, Avantika.